Um, question number 4, past performance is required for all government contracts.
So that
It's
one,
a tricky one.
I was going to say, I was like, it feels a little bit tricky, because perhaps there's some industries or some areas that you can get away with it. So I'm having a little trouble answering this question. So if you could help
Okay,
me with that.
okay, so past performance, if you define it as past performance doing government contracting, then it's not required for all government contracts because, and then you think about all government contracts, like I said, there's some little ones like micro purchases and using P cards and this and that. Yeah, technically those are government contracts, but that's usually not what people are talking about. They're talking about, winning bids for, you know, the government, doing, trying to get things purchased for product services that they need that are more substantial than that. Uh, and yes, for those bigger ones, more substantial government contracts, I know I'm speaking abstractly here, but for those more substantial ones, you need to have done that before, whatever it is.
I see.
If they're wanting to buy hamburgers, you need to have cooked hamburgers before. You need to have a staff that is well seasoned in cooking hamburgers. If you've
Mhm.
never cooked hamburgers before, but you have the idea of cooking hamburgers,
Yeah.
the government's not a good first customer. They're not going to want to hire somebody who's never cooked hamburgers before to cook hamburgers. So, past performance, do you need to be competent in performing that service or making that product? Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
unless it's something very small. Yeah, you can find little counterexamples, but in general, you need to be competent to do this. And I feel like whenever I'm explaining this hard because I've had lots of conversations with lots of students. We've done this, you know,
Yeah.
12 times or whatever in Gov strategy. Um, and I want to get this across. If you're not good at doing what you're proposing to do, and you're going to try to hoodwink the government into purchasing your service or your product, that is a terrible strategy. I can't stress that enough. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely does.
So yeah, I mean, past performance, strictly speaking, no, that statement is false because there are government contracts where past performance, like let's say, you know, it's something very simple, like like buying some screws for them or something like this,
Yeah.
and you go through the process of being, being the purchaser for that, and you purchase some screws for that. I don't know, I'm making stuff up, but if it's very
Yeah.
simple, okay. But if it's complex at all, you need to know what you're doing. All right. Question 5. A capability statement is all you need to start government contracting.
Mm. I'm trying to answer it from, I don't know what a capability statement is. So,
Well,
uh,
just give me an answer and I'll dig in a little bit.
I would say false.
Okay. What else do you think you need for government contracting besides a capability statement?
I don't know. That's why
Okay.
I'm saying false, just in case there is something else that I'm not aware of that I need.
Yeah, no, so a capability statement is, first of all, you can make a capability statement and it's completely false. So, I mean, you need to make a capability statement that says true stuff on it. So, you need, in addition to having a capability statement, it needs to accurately reflect what you can do and have done. And what you can do and have done needs to be impressive and needs to be needed and is competitive, meaning that whenever there's 100 or 1,000 of these applications, that yours stands out for whatever reason. And once you dig into that, usually it's that you need to be a mature business. You need to be competent. You need to be qualified. You need to have a differentiator. You need to be actually good in the market at doing what you do. So, I mean, and there's a lot of other requirements too that there's, you need to do the registrations. There's a lot of things that you need to get done in order to start with government contracting. So that's even a stronger argument why a capability statement is not all that you need. So you can't just walk up to, I don't know, Washington D.C. or something, or
Yeah,
to Austin, Texas with your capability statement and expect for it to magically turn into money.
I see.
There's a process to this, and it's not just a capability statement. Question 6. You can be ready for government contracting in a few weeks.
That is true.
True?
Um,
Theoretically, yes.
yes, I guess
If
theoretically,
you're,
if you have all the experience, I'm
yes,
assuming.
yes.
Yeah.
If you score high on the government contracting readiness quiz, which is developed by Apex, by the way, not
I
me,
see.
uh, but let's say you score really high on that one,
Hmm.
yeah, you can be ready in a few weeks, not very long, to start applying for and winning government contracts. It's not, but let's say that you didn't score very high on your readiness exam, your
Yeah.
assessment. It's going to take a lot longer than a few weeks to get ready. And if you
Mm.
don't have 2 to 3 years of experience doing what you're talking about, and I'm not talking about experience in your past job, but that your business has been in business for that long, performing that service or making that product, you're going to have to do the time.
See,
You're going to
it's
have to
getting
do
your
the
hands
time.
dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I want to get across is by doing what we ask you to do in this class, the time that you do spend in your business is going to be way more productive, and you're going to be much more likely to win government contracts in a few years than if you didn't go through the hoops that we're going to talk about in this class. All right, question 7. Technical registration is the hardest part of government contracting.
Uh, that sounds heavy, so I'm just gonna say true.
It's not true.
Oh,
So, technical registration, no. Signing up for Apex, or not Apex, but for uh, I mean, well, yes, you need to sign up for Apex, but I'm talking
mhm.
about like SAM.gov and actually going through the process of applying. There is plenty of help for that, and it's not, if you're ready.
I see.
And
And is
so,
that what entails technical registration?
what?
So is it the signing up on like the government pages
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
does it
all
look like
that
for
stuff. People think that's the hard part, or that's the important part. I mean, um, all right, let me put it this way. Is applying to Harvard the hardest part of getting into Harvard?
is applying to Harvard? No, it's
There
not.
it
It's
is.
the work in Harvard to
Yeah.
graduate. Okay,
You
I
need to
see.
be
I see.
smart. You need to have good
Yeah.
grades.
Yeah.
You need to have done your whatever extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
All the stuff that Mr. Robert didn't do in high school. You need to do all of that to get into Harvard. Um, that's the hard part. The easy part is filling out the application. The
I
hard
see.
part is
How
maybe
much?
writing the essay. That's a
I
hard
see.
part, but the filling out of the application isn't that bad. And a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to sign up for SAM.gov. I'm going to get my certification as a minority owned business or woman owned business or whatever. And I have an idea that I hatched in my garage that I've never done before. And I'm ready for government contracting. That would be like me uh, as and I dropped out in my sophomore year of high school,
Mhm.
and I had terrible grades up to that point. But you know, I apply for Harvard, and I write myself an essay. No, I pay somebody on Fiverr to write a great essay,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I expect to get into Harvard. It's not how it works.
yeah, that's
And
not how it works.
I would say half of the students who come into Gov Strategy, they're thinking kind of like what I'm talking about here. No joke.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so that's why I'm talking about it. It's a myth. The government is actually good at spotting people who are not ready and are not going to deliver what they want.
Yeah.
They're quite good at figuring this out.
I
So, so that's not going to stop. Um, so, yeah, get good as an entrepreneur. We can help you to get good as an entrepreneur, okay? But you're not going to be able to skip that step. If you want to do government contracting, you can't skip that step. You got to become excellent. Um, and so that's I feel like I'm beating a dead horse by now, but that's a true